The day is finally here. Gilmore Girls, a year in the life. 9 years in the making for some, about 5 years in the making for me. I got into the show much later than everyone else did. And I am about to get ready to binge watch this new mini series of Gilmore Girls. And before I did, I wanted to quickly make this video because I did do a Gilmore Girls video way back, but unfortunately due to copyright infringement issues I had to take it down, and therefore I just wanted to make a very hopefully quick video as I drink my coffee and prepare for this upcoming season. I'm going to talk about just briefly 5 unpopular opinions, a few speedy ones, and then my very few predictions. When it comes to Gilmore Girls, everyone has their opinion. Everyone has their favorites. You can't change how they feel. You can't course correct it. All I can do is say that these are the characters I like, this is why I like them, and these are the characters that I don't like, and this is why I don't like them, and that's pretty much it. So, as we begin, let me just talk about these things, and then once this video is posted today, I will post my review of the series tomorrow, just to give people enough time within today to binge watch it, let myself process it, write down all my furious notes, and then tomorrow we'll be able to all just group think about this series. Alright, so number 5, just to get out of the way, since, you know, the teams are very important to people, I am hashtag Team Logan. I know, Team Nobody, Team Paris, and then split between Jess and Logan if you do like the boyfriends. If you're Team Dean, it's like being Team Riley. It's like a very small group of people, and bless their little hearts. I really feel like Logan is the only boyfriend who really challenges Rory's privilege as a character. I think that throughout this series, Rory is, you know, being treated like this great, important princess by everyone, and Logan is the only one who makes Rory who doesn't put Rory on a pedestal of perfection. You know, Dean does. He, you know, gets married after they break up very quickly and still obsesses over Rory. Jess, you know, he obsesses over Rory, puts her on a super pedestal, dates a girl just to like make her jealous, super hardcore flirts with Rory while she's in a relationship. They're just very obsessive and emotionally dependent on Rory in a way that Logan is not, and I appreciate about him. I appreciate that he's his own character. He's not completely existing around Rory's life. You believe that he has other shit going on in his life, whereas Dean and Jess, you feel like this is all they have to offer, is their relationship with Rory, and Logan seems like his own person. Jess becomes better after the fact. Dean gets worse, unfortunately, due to bad writing. But Logan seems to actually grow and develop and become the boyfriend that I think Rory needs and deserved at this point in her life. Logan is treated like kind of a bastard because he has so many other sexual relationships, and I think, you know, he's 21 years old, rich, white, goes to one of the most prestigious schools in the world. Of course, he's like, has a rotation, and I even feel like, you know, that's important for Rory to deal with, is dealing with guys who you're not their first, you're not their one true love, you're not their immortal beloved, you're another girl that they're dating, and maybe it can develop into something more, but not coming into it thinking like, I'm the one who's gonna fix and change and make him be all, you know what I mean, like that complex you have. To the whole issue of Bridesmaid Gate, I think that if Logan really believed that he and Rory were broken up when that happened, I believe Logan was fine to do it. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I feel like if you're on a break or you're not together and you sleep with other people, fair game. Jess is an annoying character for me because he has so much angst and whininess that he just brings into this relationship, and it's unfulfilling because the writing does not deliver on what we expect Jess's backstory to be. We're told that his mother is this terrible person who doesn't love him and doesn't do this, but then we finally meet Liz, and she's not the character that we've been told. She is not that person, and it just makes all of Jess's angst and feelings about his mother seem, as my opinion, like a lie. Like it was just made up to make you feel bad for him. He's just angsty and sad and mopey teenage boy, and it's like, okay, but then you also ruined a relationship and did all of this bullshit for no reason. And then he tried to force himself on Rory, and I just can't come back from that. I know that there's some people who feel like, oh, you know, he didn't really do it, didn't mean to, but like, just him acting that way was just so awful to me that I can't come back from that. To me, Jess is just, he was doing the absolute most. Calm down. But again, that leads to my number four on my list, which is that the writing kind of sucks sometimes. Not in terms of like character or overarching plot. I think that it has a lot of good qualities. The writing, the character, the dialogue, all that stuff over the most part is very good. But like, when it comes to continuity and character development, the show can sometimes just pull these huge flips. Like, especially with Dean. Dean is the most victimized character when it comes to this issue, because as soon as they didn't want him to be a valuable love interest to Rory, they ruined him as a character. And that, I feel, is like a weak writing trick. There was no reason to make Dean dumb in order to make Jess look better. And they'll often pick and choose how they want characters to interact with each other depending on what kind of storyline they want to tell. There's a reason why, you know, right before Jess comes back, Logan is super drunk and like super angsty, just like, Rory, I don't want to go on and I hate my now. You know, it's all there to like set up just to come and be like, I got my shit together, Rory. I have a small press book. I'm sophisticated. It's, you know, it's all to create these contrasts, but it doesn't feel natural. It feels like, oh, you want me to feel this way, so you're gonna write this way. And that's a writing trick that I honestly don't like. I don't like when shows want you to root for certain things so they make other people terrible. That's why I always liked Millie from Scandal, because I'm like, you're making her terrible, or making me feel like she's supposed to be terrible because you want this to happen, and I don't even like this. So this I'm gonna root for. I don't care that you think, oh, Litz is great. I like Millie because you haven't proved to me that Millie's terrible because she's terrible. She's just terrible so that they can look good. Say, like, even as someone who doesn't like Dean, I feel very uncomfortable with the fact that he was treated like a lesser match for Rory because he wasn't going to, like, college, like to a proper four-year college. This show is super classist at times, and it doesn't even realize it because it wants to so much be like, the Gilmore Girls, they built their life from the ground up and they did this and they did that, but it's not true. And the show doesn't know how to deal with that, and like conflicts like this will show that. Like the way they treat Dean, and even though there are plenty of things against Dean's favor, that I felt was a thing that made me really annoyed and feel kind of bad for him, because that was just such a classist ass excuse, and I did not respond well to it. I also feel, like I said before, like, you know, there's the Jess Liz issue, whereas Liz is nothing like how Jess described her or Luke described her, and her arrival kind of throws everything we're supposed to know about Jess and his backstory into the wind, because she's not terrible. She's not a hateful, cruel person. She seems to very much love her family and want everyone to be together. Like, the way she treats Luke, like, my big brother, I love you so much, and like how she just knows who Anna Nardini is and all this kind of shit happening. Like, it's just, it doesn't match up to what we've been told. And even that, like, the fact that like Anna Nardini was dating Luke 12 years ago, which means that Lorelai would know who this person is because they were around at the time. Rory would know who this person is because she was born there. She's 21 years old at the time. People should know who this person is. It shouldn't be like, oh my god, who's Anna Nardini? It just, they pull stuff out of nowhere because it's convenient rather than it making a lot of internalized sense. And this is especially true when it comes to stuff like Lorelai and her relationship with her parents. Like, even in flashbacks, we never really see Emily and Richard being the worst. They're uptight about the whole Christopher and Lorelai not getting married thing, but that again is not a classist thing to me, because like if you go across people of different backgrounds, they're all like, if you get pregnant, you get married, that's the way to make things seem nuclear. That's a very common thing, but we never see anything that validates Lorelai's opinion of her parents except in the post-pregnancy world, the modern day lens, because we don't see anything in the flashbacks that makes me say that Lorelai was right for taking Rory and just leaving in the middle of the night without leaving a note or anything. There's nothing that makes me feel like it was right for Lorelai to be like, I don't want my mother in the birthing room with me. Like, that's such a cold, cruel thing to see, that I need to see them being the coldest, cruelest people before, and they don't do that. Everything that they do seems like a response to that. And that makes me more on their side than Lorelai's, because Lorelai is like another one of those characters who does not get her own privilege, who definitely thinks that she's accomplished more because she did it on her own. It's like, no, you didn't. People cut corners for you all the time. And it's ridiculous how many corners get crossed for you, but you still have this chip on your shoulder of like, I did it all on my own. No, you didn't. Many things you have because you got loans from your parents, or loans from Luke, or loans from friends, or because this whole town is obsessed with you. Like, It's because you're the special, not because you worked hard consistently all the time. It's frustrating. And even stuff like, how distant were Rory from her grandparents before the show started? Because, like, it's supposed to be like they'd had, like, barely any interaction. But then Richard will know things about Rory when she was younger. I'm like, but apparently y'all never met. So how is this working out? And this leads me to number 3, because it also affects my feelings on Christopher. See, I like Christopher, and I was listening to Gilmore guys earlier, and they were talking about the Martha's Vineyard episode, and what they say around like an hour and 18 minutes in about Christopher, this is Demi, who I love even though he hates Logan, but I still love Demi's opinions, is that Christopher is said to be a bad father, yes, but every time we see him, he's trying to do better, he's trying to help things better and be a better dad, especially in the later seasons. So it's hard for me to dislike him because he's just a plot device. He only appears or is mentioned in episodes where he A, shows up, or B, he's caused drama. He's never around just because it'd be a natural part of the story. And people say, like, oh, that's because he's never involved at all. But even when it would be brought up to say, like, oh, it's Christopher, he never shows up to these things, it's never, like, Rory's graduation, not mentioned at all. Even though, you know, they weren't talking in season 3, but still, this is her graduation. This is the thing that you would bring up. Is your dad gonna be there? Fucking Rory's 21st birthday when she's not even talking to Lorelai. No one's like, do you want me to invite your father? Like, it's just, he's not even brought up to even smash him, to be like, no, he's a dickhole. It's like, we don't think about Christopher because what will be the point? Christopher is not gonna be the drama magnet for this storyline. And that frustrates me because, again, that's bad writing. Like, there's a reason why Christopher doesn't appear until after April arrives in season 6, because Christopher appearing is to create drama between the relationship between Luke and Lorelai as it's going sour because of the April situation. To bring him up before that would just add him on top of a situation where he could not assist anything. Like, he's not going to make the thing between the grandparents and Rory and Lorelai any more complicated. But if he comes in while Luke and Lorelai are going through shit, then it's like, oh shit, Christopher is here. Oh no. And that is what bothers me about how he's written and why I don't dislike him. I feel like he tries his best. We never really, and we also don't really understand what role he played in Rory and Lorelai's life, or how he even left them. People often compare, like, him and Sherry, and I'm like, Sherry was a 33-something-year-old woman who was married, got pregnant, you know, Christopher was doing everything right, and then he left. And then she left. That's not what Christopher did. Christopher was 16, and we actually just don't know what happened, except what is being told to us. And Christopher never makes excuses for himself. He never tries to act as though he's better than he is. I mean, the only time where he really fights with Lorelai is after, you know, the Sherry pregnant incident. And I just feel like, of course he's going to go back to Sherry. Like, he's want to do the right thing. He didn't do the right thing with Lorelai and Rory. He wants to do better now. And that I find to make sense. And so I root for him. And I think that he and Lorelai just, they make sense. Their characters make sense together. They have great chemistry. They bounce off each other really well. Every time they're together and things are going good, they make sense. And I felt like the reason why I hate season 7 so much is because it only proved to me that they would make sense, but the narrative will not allow them to be together because it's not the path that the writers have chosen, and that is something that I don't like. So I totally am Team Christopher. I think they make total sense together. I think that they are similar. I think their relationship is great. I think that they are probably the couple that I think that they are the best match for each other in the show. And I really wish that they had never got them married, did all stuff in season 7, because at least with season 6 it could be like, we had sex, it was a mistake, but we're still gonna be great friends. Whereas season 7 adds marriage to it and then makes everything 10 times worse, because then it's like Christopher's like so like, yeah, you know, it's okay. He's like so he's just so fucking nice. And it's just like, I can't deal with the writers just being like, nope, this can't happen, even though it makes total sense because we have to have Luke and Lorelai, even though they've totally run the boat. Next is Rory. I really don't like Rory post season 4. Like, season 4 and beyond is when I really don't like her. To me, Rory is a small, self-centered brat, and it has nothing to do with Logan or Jess or anyone. It's about her being a character who has been told her entire life that she's the best, she's perfect, she can do anything, no limits, baby. An entire town being, frankly, way too obsessed with her than is necessary or healthy. And so anytime that she's criticized or challenged or hindered in any way, she reacts with these most whiny, privilegey behaviors. Like, and never anything that's like simple and normal. Like, it's not like she like Mitchum tells her that she doesn't got it and she like goes and like smokes some pot or whatever. She's like, I'm gonna go steal a yacht. Like, everything she does is like so overhyped and so overprivileged. And it really grates at me because it's like, this is a girl who fucking buys a study tree for $20 that she never uses again. Like, you know what I mean? It's those little things that just show that she was always a privileged character, and that all Logan did, I think, was give her someone who wouldn't shame her for that privilege. Because Jess and Dean, they come from much more blue-collar backgrounds, more working-class backgrounds. They would be more critical of that behavior, whereas Logan, because he's privileged and he sees this all the time, it's not like weird or abnormal to him, because it's like, yeah, we're rich kids, this is what rich kids do. And it just allows Rory to unleash that part of herself that was always there. She, like, the thing about even her and Lorelai, like, they love Stars Hollow, but they're also better than Stars Hollow, and they know that. That's why they run that place, because they're charming and they're cute and they've got Bambi eyes and Bambi faces. It's just all showing how much better they are than everybody else. And it's like, on top of everything else, just a shit friend. Like, I really hate how she, like, takes the Yale Daily News away from Paris and doesn't even fucking acknowledge that she fucked up or fucked her over. Like, Paris was not always great to Rory, but when they were friends, she really tried to be friends with Rory and, like, be a ride or die for her, and she will protect and care for Rory as much as possible. But Rory just is a shit to her. Like, when she's like, when they're like, you're best friends, she's like, we're not best friends, we're, like, friends, kinda. And it's just like, you're the worst, because as soon as, like, when you have no place to live, where do you go? Paris, because Paris will fucking cape for you, and you won't fucking cape for her. And that's why I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like that little, she's so privileged and unaware of it that it bothers me more than if she were like a Logan who wields his privilege, who knows that he's privileged and can do whatever he wants with it. Whereas Rory just doesn't get it, and that's more annoying than anything, in my opinion. Like, half of the thing that she has, she would not have without her grandparents. She would not have gone to Chilton. She would not have gone to Yale. The opportunities she has, the way that she can manipulate people and do things, it's because she's a Gilmore. Because she's a Gilmore. Do you think she could just go into people's offices and do all this crazy ass shit that she does that's completely out of line if she didn't come from a rich ass family who could fucking back her up from that? Absolutely not. She is privileged as fuck, but she doesn't acknowledge it, and that's why I cannot stand her. I mean, do I enjoy her as a character overall? Yes, she's very interesting. But like, personally wise, I find her to be completely hella obnoxious. Finally, probably, that I think is probably, if you could tell by what I like and who I like, it's probably coming up. I don't like Luke. I really don't like Luke. And I know that's super unpopular because he's a really popular character. Luke and Lorelai's a super popular couple. I get it. But I've watched the series in completion twice. And the first time I watched it was like about 5 years ago. And everyone told me, like, Luke and Lorelai, that's like the OTP. That's a couple. That's like one of the big TV couples. That's Sam and Diane levels. And it never clicked for me. It never clicked for me at all. It never captivated me. I never really cared for their relationship, and I just didn't care for Luke. I think Luke is a massive man-child. Ever since the moment where I think he fights Dean in the street, that's the moment where I was kind of like, this dude is the worst. Because any grown man who does that, I judge the shit out of that. Like, you are a grown-ass man, and you're picking a fight with a fucking teenager in the middle of the street. What's wrong with you? I hated him ever since then, because to me it's just like the epitome of like what he is. And like, he'll say like low-key sexist shit all the time. Like the one episode where like he has the girls soccer team and he's like, yeah, boys are boys and girls are girls. And I was kind of like, dude, cut it out. And I'm like, Lorelai, where are you? Like, you are such like a girl feminist type character. And I wouldn't say fully feminist, because I'm not gonna try to give like them that much credit, because the show has a lot of problems with women and minorities, and I think maybe I'll get into that another time. I want to actually see it and talk about it after this revival episode, because that'll define a lot of shit for me. But, you know, to me, Lorelai and Luke were cute when they were building up to it. Like, the build up, everything about that worked. But when they were actually together, it never worked for me, because they're not similar. They don't have the same interests. They both care about Rory. That's great, but half the town cares about Rory. They never seemed like they were similar enough to work. Like, I feel like the thing is that, like, Luke gives, Lorelai receives, they make excuses for each other. They bend to each other's whims whenever they need themselves to. But, like, there's nothing about them that makes me feel like they belong together. I think Lorelai is attracted to his stability, and I think Luke is attracted to her, you know, her wild nature and, you know, her vivaciousness. But it's because they lack that in themselves, and they're trying to fulfill those things in each other. Whereas, like, Christopher and Lorelai are the same in a lot of ways, except Lorelai would be the stable one, and Christopher is not. And Lorelai doesn't want to pick that up on him. She's like, I don't need you to add to this one thing that I'm not good at. Whereas Luke has this one thing that he's really, really good at about being stable and being like a solid figure. And that's what she really wants, because she hasn't had that her entire life. And that's the one thing that Christopher was lacking. And then when he finally had that, all of a sudden, it's not the stability that she wanted. And everyone's like, it's because she really loved Luke. I'm just like, I guess so. But to me, Luke never felt like a good fit for Lorelai, beyond that he completes this one part of her character that needs to be completed. They just don't naturally fit together. They don't see like he's just so grumpy and goes on these stupid ass rants and just is so bitter and grumpy. And I think everything about the April situation brings out why they don't sync up. They're just not on the same wavelength. And I don't like him. I feel like he is a whiny, annoying character, and it's because we actively see him do these things. Like I said, like, when things happen off screen, you can either take it or leave it. Like, I'm sure there are people who, like, totally believe Jess had a terrible childhood, and they can take that even though we never see it. But for me, we never see it, and then we see Liz, I'm just kind of like, I don't believe it. Where for Christopher, it's like, he's supposed to be this terrible dad, whatever, but it's like, the show doesn't seem to show me that. We don't have any backstory to really show what his reality was that happened. So to me, it's like, Christopher's coming here, like, being charismatic as fuck, being nice, being whatever. Like, I like Christopher. Whereas Luke, he's supposed to be this amazing dude, and he'll do amazing things. He'll bring her these things and build her this and build her that. But then when they're together, it's like drama for no reason, because they just do not click. And that's for me the big, and I just don't like Luke's personality. To me, he's like every single thing I dislike about, like, that character, that type of, like, you know, salt of the earth main character. He just bitches and moans about the stupidest, basicest shit. I'm just kind of like, dude, shut up. You're too into yourself right now. But yeah, those are my longer ones. The things that I dislike, I'm just gonna pull up on my phone right now and just read them out. So the things, so some of these are like little bleeper ones. So, all right, 1, I love Mrs. Kim. She's amazing. 2, I prefer Lauren Graham as Sarah in Parenthood than I do as Lorelai. I think that Lorelai is the better character because, you know, she's the main lead. She gets to do a lot more comedic acting. But I feel like Sarah was a better, more adult character to show her range. And also, Ray Romano's character in that show, who was Lauren Graham's love interest, that's my favorite couple. Can we bring Ray Romano back and, like, put him in this show and, like, have them just be together? Like, because that would be great. Their comedic time, oh my god, yes. Ray Romano and Lauren Graham forever. Yeah. By far, better boyfriend than any of Lorelai's boyfriends. And that's including Christopher, who I love. Zach's a douche. I kind of want to see Rory date a person of color just to see how Emily would react to that. I also feel like the show is just too white in general. They need to really up that. April is fine. People are way too mean on her. She's adorable. Jackson is kind of a jackass, and I really don't like Jackson. He's just so basic. That's the thing. There's a lot of basic dudes on this show. And I like Digger. People are too hard on Digger. I think Digger was, like, another excellent fit for Lorelai, but because he was just too, you know what it is? It's because, like, he came at the wrong time. He came at the perfect time where it's like Luke was finally ready with his cassette tapes to be there for Lorelai, and so it had to be like some contrived bullshit drama to be like, nope, Digger and Lorelai can't be together anymore. So predictions and hopes. So these are my few predictions and hopes. So prediction is like, we're gonna have a Luke and Lorelai wedding, duh and gross. I think that Logan and Rory will have sex again, but I think unfortunately Endgame is going to be Jess and Rory because everyone, majority rules, is going to be Jess and Rory. They're not going to make Rory be alone, and they're not going to have Rory be bisexual because they're just not that developed when it comes to LGBT stuff on this show. I mean, and that's just, and I will say this, oh, actually I save it for the hopes, I'll just save it, okay. Christopher will remain a drama bucket and will probably be part of the reason why Lorelai feels conflict. He will also not be at the eventual Luke and Lorelai wedding, even though he's her oldest friend and her baby daddy, because if Christopher's not there for drama, then he cannot be in the storyline. for my hopes, I really hope that Gigi and Rory will spend time together. I'm hoping that Gigi's going to be at Chilton and like Rory will be there as well. Because I always felt like they never really allowed Gigi and Rory to have any kind of relationship, even though they were sisters. And I really would love to see them be sisters. I hope that Paris and Doyle are married, or at least still together. I hope Dean has a good life, because even though he was annoying as fuck, I feel bad about the classes issue dealing with him. So I really hope that he like has his shit together, like is a good solid dude. Like I hope that he got over his shit and he's just a good person. I hope that Emily and Lorelai finally kind of like really bridge each other's gaps, especially with Richard being passed on, R.I.P. Richard Sherman. Luke finally grows up and becomes an adult, like, please. And Rory too, they both need to become fucking real adults. I hope that Lane is having good sex now, because that was really upsetting for me. And I hope this show, and this is like my little social plug, but I really hope this show finds a way to improve when it comes to LGBT and race, because even though we do have Michelle and we have the Kims, and I think that overall for a CW, WB show, it did eventually do better things with race and had at least, you know, some major characters of color on the show. The show could do better in a lot of, there's also Gypsy and Miss Patty. I mean, there's background color to it for sure, but I think that the show could do better. And I hope that it does do better. And I really think it needs to improve upon their ideas of like therapy, because they treat therapy like you're a crazy person. Where you're gonna go to therapy. I didn't know you were crazy. You're a loon. It's like, dude, really? I know it's the early 2000s, late 90s, but still, it's very jarring to watch a show that's seen as progressive and then it says like bullshit like that. They think about Sex and the City. Sex and the City has the same problems, but I hope it's better with that. I hope it's better with the LGBT issue, because the show is so low-key homophobic sometimes, like in the no homo type of way. And it's like the part where like Zach wants to get the band back together. He's like the ultimate no homo bro. He like goes to like Gil, and Brian is like, not to get all broken back mountain on you guys, but like I miss you. And I'm just like, dude, unnecessary. It's okay for y'all to be bros, like. And there's a time where, like, Gil's being homophobic, like, if you were gay, we would do this. If you were talking about a dude, I'd be out of here. I'm like, guys, what? It's too much sometimes. I really hope that the show has used these 9 years to evolve into a better show with a better social consciousness when it comes to those things. Like, it can still be funny, still have its riffs, but, like, those things were just super jarring and, like, obnoxious to watch as an adult. So I'm just hoping that they do that better. And I hope that they do a good service to all the characters, because I do love the show. I love that everyone has different opinions. I love that everyone can like watch this show and come out feeling completely different about everybody. You know, I'm watching it with my current partner right now, and he loves Luke and Lorelai. Like, he's totally upset that they're like not together in season 6 and all that crazy shit because he's behind. So I think that the show is great because it could do that, but I just hope that it uses this opportunity to be a better show. And now it's time to watch it. It's like staring at me, like Lauren Graham is like this thing on Netflix, she's like pointing the pointer at me, the remote. So yeah, I'm ready.